Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach Kumalak Yabashai, double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach Yabashai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the men of the Lord who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, doing the work of the Most High, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and they're doing all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive, being diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. And last but not least, shalom to everybody tuning in live. Salakia Kyoko Banyamyan, Juan Figuera, or Salakia if I mispronounce the name. The Truth Be Real, Amaziah Hawada, HBK Ent, Reese Kent, Judah Mania, Divash Branch, Lady of Zion 101, Nahum Yasha'Allah, WFI Bay Area, House of St. Nicholas, K-Rock the Don, The Truth Be Real, and everybody else tuning in, and that will tune in, Lord willing. You see the topic of the cold cut. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. And whatever you do, don't do this. Right? I want to kick it off with the book of Luke, the 21st chapter, because you're living in exciting times. Right? Let me pull it up on the screen. Right? Let me pull this up on the screen. I mean, you have so much coming to pass, and things are heating up, man. Things are heating up. Not only do you have a mass awakening, not only do you have the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man coming back to the Most High, you got the Lord putting a spirit on particular individuals, athletes, celebrities, men of renown, radio producers, people in the media, even other nations. Outside of that, you have blood moons coming. You have World War III on the rise between Russia, between Babylon the Great. You have Iran doing videos about how to propaganda, how they're going to bomb Saudi Arabia. You have NATO divided. You have France and Germany against America. You have Italy. It's like you have Greece against Turkey. You have all hell breaking loose on the earth, man. Right? The real coons are being exposed. The men of the Lord are standing. How do they say, 10 toes down for Yahweh Shem Yahushua? I mean, these are heavy, heavy times, man. Heavy, prophetic, exciting times. They cut the Cold Cuts channel down. Cold Cuts channel down right after the live me and Zamron did through the spirit of inspiration of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Just completely took the whole Cold Cuts channel down. We had 0 strikes, right, for what they call hate speech, man. And all we do is teach the word of the Most High. So now the Cold Cuts channel is down. Other channels are getting suspended. And we're going to keep doing the work of the Most High, man, right? We're going to keep doing the work, Lord willing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? And I want to go to the book of Luke, the 21st chapter, right? Let's go to St. Luke, chapter 21, and I want to go straight to the point, right? Let's go to St. Luke, chapter 21, and I'm going to start at 29, all right? This St. Luke, chapter 21, and I'm going to read verse 29, right? Because everything that you see going on right now is documented in the Bible. There is not one global event or major event or any event happening on the earth that you will not read in the Bible, man. Right? This St. Luke chapter 21. It's lucky. I'm going to start at verse 28. And when ye see these things come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So the things that begin to come to pass are the prophecies, man. The awakening of the Israelites. That's one of the major prophecies. That's one of my favorite prophecies in the Bible, man. Right? The Israelites waking up and coming back to the Most High. That is probably the most major prophecy documented in the Bible. The Lord said, when you see these things come to pass, it's not just talking about what's listed in Luke, the 21st chapter. That's in Matthew 24, Mark 13, 2nd Ezra 5, 2nd Ezra 9, Baruch, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Haggai, Daniel. When you see these prophecies come to pass, the Lord said, lift up your head. meaning don't be depressed. Don't have your head down. Now it's not a time to be stressed, anxious. You're too worried about your rent and your bills. And of course, you live in this world, but this place is about to be destroyed, man. The Most High is showing that this place is going down. So you have no reason to have your head down, man. Oh boy, I don't know what we're going to do, brother. You're almost out of here, man. Oh, my rent and my bills and work. And hey, brother, you're only here for this much longer, Lord willing, man. The Lord said, lift up your head, man. Baruch chapter 2 and 29. If ye would not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. So we were scattered through the four corners of the earth, right? Diaspora, slave trade. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. So now we're beginning to remember who we are. That's why you have the Spirit resting upon the men of the Lord, the daughters of Zion, and other men of renown who has the knowledge of knowing that they're the people of the Most High, who has the knowledge of people sound from the 12 tribes of Judah. I mean, it's a massive awakening. People are clicking that link, Hebrews to Negroes. You have people going on YouTube, typing in who are the Hebrew Israelites. It hasn't been a time really like this, man, that I can recall. And I've said that before. Since I've been in the truth, I can't recall a time like this, man, where the word is being pushed out on such a massive level. The Lord told you that this will happen. He said, in the land of your captivity, Babylon the Great, which you know as America, Haiti, St. Lucia, St. Thomas, England, Brazil, Venezuela, Cuba, Puerto Rico, right? All of these different land masses, even on the other side of the world, Netherlands, France, wherever our people are scattered, that is the land of your captivity. The Lord said, you're going to remember themselves, or remember who you are, rather, and shall know that I am Yahweh, their God. For why? For I will give them an heart and ears to hear. See that? This is all of the Most High, right? If it wasn't for the Most High, we'll be consumed. That's Psalms 124, Lamentations chapter 3 and 21. Right, let me get that real quick. The Lord said, if it had not been of the Lord, may Israel now say. Right, let's get that in Psalms chapter 124. So the Most High gave us a mind to receive the truth. He took us off of crack, weed, breaking the Sabbath, drugs, prostitution, whoredom, whoremongering, idolatry, madness, folly, vanity, and open up our ears to come back to the Most High, man. Right? Psalms chapter 124 and 1. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, now may Israel say. So all honor and glory goes to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This is his show. He's running the show. He's pulling the strings. He's putting his spirit on the earth. This is bigger than man. This is bigger than Kyrie Irving. This is bigger than Kanye West, than the Hebrew Israelites. This is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. He's doing this. He's putting the spirit on the earth. The spirit of prophecy, the spirit of revealing the wicked, the spirit of judgment, the spirit of variance, war, famine, economic collapse. And this is Yahweh. Don't get it twisted, man. The same God that destroyed the walls of Jericho, the same God that overthrew Egypt with 10 mighty plagues, the same God that's drying up the rivers around the earth and the river Euphrates to this day. The same God is who has put the spirit on world leaders, scientists, engineers to create weapons of mass destruction to fulfill judgment. This is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, the God of our fathers. So if it had not been of the Lord, we would not have any men speaking on behalf of the truth, speaking up for knowledge, knowing our nationality. That's why we say, call her Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach, like Yahushai, which really all praises to Yahweh in the name of his son Yahushua. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, because who else is on our side, man? People love the NBA. The word is showing, the Most High is showing you that the NBA is not for you, man. People love the industry, the rap game. right? But the world, the Most High, I keep saying the world because the Most High is putting that spirit on the world. But the Most High is showing you, hey, the rap game ain't for you, Jake, no more, man. You know? The Most High is showing you that this world is not for you. The two biggest main things that you glorify outside of idolatry, which really it all ties in hand in hand, is your damn sports and rap, man. Your follies. The Lord is cutting those things off, man. So the Lord is on our side. He's not on Amalek's side. He's not on Edom's side. Right? And that's what Esau thinks. Right? When you read the book of Psalms chapter 50, the Most High tells you that the mentality of Esau, man, that he really believes that there was a time when the Most High was with him. You know, and it got to the point where we know prophetically that the Most High set up Esau, but it tell you in Psalms chapter 50 that they actually believe the Most High is just like them. And that's where they thought that they can get away with the lies and the robbery and the extortion, because they felt as though, look, the Most High is on our side. No, the Most High is not on the side of Esau, man. See, the Most High has overthrown you and supplanted you. Right? This is Psalms chapter 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked, God said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? So what are you doing with the Bible? Professing yourself at all to be a Jew, claiming to be the people of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, reading out the Torah, opening up synagogues, reading the Bible. What are you doing? Right? That's why you have Esau and their what is this? Their never is now event. Right? Be in the room for this inspiring conversation about speaking out to fight anti-Semitism and anti-Black racism, the current relationship between our communities. So you have Esau, and they want to have the world's largest anti-Semitism and hate summit, man. They want the world to believe that they are the people of the Most High. Never is now. The men that run the NBA, they have suspended Kyrie Irving, man, because they say that he refused to look at this. What is this? Kyrie Irving suspended by Brooklyn Nets over quote unquote failure to disavow anti-Semitism, which means he doubled down on it. It means he doubled down. They made him pay a few dollars, and they want him to say yes or no. Do you support what's in there? And he's not going to disavow it, man. You know? So the Most High said, well, what are you doing with the Bible, man? Because the true people of the Most High are claiming back their heritage and taking back their nationality, and you're still holding on to the scriptures like it's yours, man. Your days of understand or saying that you're the people of the Most High are over. They are over. The jig is up. The jig is up. Right? Where's their statement at? See if I can get their statement that they professed. Unto the wicked, God has said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee? Yeah, what are you doing saying that you're the people of the Most High when you hate instruction? When you cast the words of the Lord behind you? When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and has been a partaker with the adulteress, meaning you rape, rob, and murder, and you freak off with the other nations, right? When you get to see Ishmael, when you see Moab, and you see the other nations, y'all make a league together to oppress the children of the Lord. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. And here's the point I want. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest I was altogether such an one as thyself. See that? So the Lord said, you've been getting away with this for so long. You thought that I was altogether such an one as thyself. You really believed that I had your back, that I was with you, that I cast off my people forever. You really thought that I was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, man. Where is it at in the Bible? Show me one book, chapter, and verse where it says, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Edom. That's madness. But the Most High is letting you know that's what Esau thought at one time. When he was on top and ruling the earth and oppressing Israel, he thought that the Most High was with him. He's like, how am I getting away with this? The Most High must be with me. The Most High must despise his people. The Lord had utterly cast them off. I can see. He has given me the power to enslave them, to overthrow them, to destroy, to kill, to oppress. The Most High must be my God now. But what did the Most High say? But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. And the Lord, another word for reproof, how they say is checking you, man. The Most High is checking Esau, man. Correcting them. Letting them know, hold on now. I don't know what you thought, but that's not it, man. The people of the Most High, guess what? I'm going to set them in order before your eyes. I'm going to establish congregations. I'm going to set them in order. I'm going to set up camps. I'm going to bring families together. They're going to bear children. I'm going to raise up other men of renown, men of the world, men that you thought were under your dominion, enslaved, under mind control. I'm going to take them out of that spell and out of the sorcery, and I'm going to help use them to keep my people in order, man. That's what the Most High is doing. This is prophecy. Us being set in order, and it doesn't say in the dark. The Most High doesn't say, I'm going to set them in order in the dark, and you're going to wake up and find out what's going on. No, it says, I will set them in order before thine eyes. Meaning what? Us coming back to the Most High is going to be, what is the word I'm looking for? It's going to be global, right? It's going to be televised. It's all over the social media. It's on ESPN. They're talking about it just about on every major news outlet, every media source, from the papers, the New York Times to the Washington Post to the Chicago Tribune to major social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You understand? To talk shows, television shows, sports broadcasting. Everybody's talking about the Hebrew Israelites, man. And who are the real Jews? I saw this video with Skip Bayless. If you don't know who Skip Bayless is, he is sports broadcasting guy, right? Skip Bayless is talking to Shannon Sharp, and he's reading something, and he's saying that the chosen people of the Most High are the so-called black people. You know, he's sitting there reading it. It's on ESPN. How can you not look it up? There was another clip I saw. This guy, he said, yeah, I watched the video. He's a major sports broadcasting guy. He said, I watched it. He said, I sat down and I watched the whole thing. How many other people watched it? This is a massive awakening. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. Actually, go to Revelation. Right? These are exciting times to be alive. How many people click that link? Right? The Hebrews to Negroes. How many people start typing in Israelites, black Jews, Deuteronomy 28? If I was behind, I know these guys, these Edomites that run Google as a search engine are at their wits' end, Yahoo or whatever, because they keep tabs on that. They keep tabs on who's looking up what. What's the number one trending thing being searched on the internet? And I bet my bottom dollar that over the past 30 days, the one of the most number one trending search things being typed in the search bar, should I say, it has to do with any of those categories, whether it's anti-Semitism, black Jews, Hebrew Israelites, Kyrie Irving, Kanye West, 12 tribes, Deuteronomy. That has to be, because the Most High is putting that spirit, man. Revelation chapter 11 and 11. I'm going to start at verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Now, these are our spiritually dead bodies. Although you do have physically dead bodies due to rape, rob, and murder, oppression, right? What the world calls black on black crime, Esau murdering our people. You have physical dead bodies. We're not denying that. But this prophecy is more so of a spiritual death. Remember, without the life of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, you're dead. Without this truth, you are dead. Without your heritage, you are dead. Without your nationality, you are dead. Without Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua and the laws and the commandments, you are dead. Last time I checked in the book of Proverbs, the 7th chapter said what? Keep my commandments and live. Let me get that real quick. And my law as the apple of thine eye. So the Lord is telling you what causes life and what causes death. And it's really no in between. Either you're in the word of the Most High or you're in the world. The world brings about death. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, he gives you life. So our people are spiritually dead, inclined to serve like other gods, false idols, doctrines, philosophies, highly esteemed politics, government, sports, celebrities, all these things they sacrifice into, but they don't come back to the Most High, man. Right? Let's get that real quick. I want to get this quick precept, right? Salakia in the book of Proverbs, the 7th chapter, right? Proverbs chapter 7. And that man, Kyrie Irving, you know, if you've been watching, he's been suspended for 5 games. And I believe I did see one article where they said he's suspended until he disavows anti-Semitism. Now they said 5 games. Now I could be wrong. I'm not an NBA executive. I'm not a general manager. I'm not the PR guy. I don't play for the Nets. But I believe they're suspending for 5 games, and they're going to have a review with him and say, well, Kyrie, you know, you sat out 5 games. We know you love basketball. They're going to sit him in some room. And they said, well, you know, you've been suspended 5 games. We hate to make it 10. You know, we hate to lose you for the season, Kyrie. All of your workouts, all of your training in the gym, you know, all of your diligence. We hate for all of it to go to waste. We'll just go out there in your next press conference and, you know, you don't have to say everything. We'll help you out. We'll give you what to say. Right? It don't have to be long. You don't have to take any questions. See how Esau, they try to get you and make you sell out in a subtle way, man, like a serpent. Here, we'll write the speech for you, Kyrie. They might call him Kai. Right? You know, they might give him some lucrative deal. Look, we're thinking about getting you a bonus anyway. Right? Here's your $10 million bonus. $10 million bonus, you know, that $500 million you lost to $500,000, look, you'll get that right back. You've been suspended 5 games. Just denounce it this time. All right? It'll be better for both of us, for you, for your family. All right? Just denounce it. All right? And we'll give you something to think about. And he'll leave the room, and he'll have to think about it, man. You know? And he'll leave that check in front of him with all of those zeros. Here, just think. We'll leave this right here. Just think about it. Think about your team, Kyrie. They need you. Think about the city of Brooklyn or New York. Right? And then, hey, guess what, man? After them 5 games, if he stands on it, they may cut this guy. They may just get rid of him. You know? Now, they suspended him because only for 5 games because they know he's a moneymaker. People are not coming to see, I don't know who plays on that team, but they're not coming to see some 5'5" Edomite. They're coming to see Kyrie Irving. They're coming to see the top stars. Those are blockbuster courtside tickets. New York, major city, hot spot. So they don't want to lose him completely, but they also, if they don't get this man to bow down and get this man to conform, then they're gonna have to do what they do, man. You know? Now this Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 2. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. That doesn't mean literally bind them upon your finger. It means your finger represents your power, your strength, your works. So you do the commandments continually as something is bound up with you. You live by this in your works and actions. You confess the name of the Most High. That's what it means, bind them upon thy finger. You repent and come out of the world. You keep the feast days. You love your brother. You build up your household. And you write them upon the tables of thine heart. When something's written in the ancient table, it's not talking about your dining room table with your leftovers. It's speaking about tables of stone, or you had clay tablets or brass tablets, and they're etched in there forever. There was no delete, Photoshop, whiteout. It was engraved in there forever. So the spirit behind this verse is keep the laws of the Most High continually with you in your mind, never leave them, and in your finger, never separate from them. Saying to wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman. Right? So you leave the worldly family, and your new family becomes wisdom and understanding, and your fellow brother and sisters in this truth, man. So the Lord says our bodies are dead in this great city, and that's due to the lack of our people keeping the commandments, man. Right? Let's go to Colossians chapter 3 real quick. Right? Colossians chapter 3, and I want to go to verse 4. And I want to pull that back up in Revelation. Then I want to go back to that article. All right, so this Colossians chapter 3 and verse 4. I'm going to start at 3. I'm going to start at 1. If ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of God. So if you are resurrected and you once were dead and now you're risen with the Lord, it's time to seek the things that are above: righteousness, immortality, the kingdom of heaven. Right? Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. So if your affection is still on getting a good job out of the world, now ain't nothing wrong with providing for your family and yourself. But if you're looking for your job to save you, all you do is think about money, a new house, a new car. If you're a materialistic, carnal individual, you're not going to make it. You can't set your things on the earth, man, on temporal, corruptible things. They're not the Most High saying 2 Peter the 3rd chapter that the elements are going to be melt with fervent heat? Why are you setting your affection on elements that are reserved unto fire? You should be setting your affection on the eternal things. That's 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 17 on down. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in the Most High. When Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. So the Lord is our life. Because without Hamashiach Yahushua, we are dead. That's why in Revelation 11 chapter, it says, and their dead bodies, spiritually dead, shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. What does that mean? That when it says they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations, it's speaking about the heathen. Rather, that's the Edomites, the Ishmaelites, the Moabite, the Ammonite, the Hamites. They see us dead. They see us in our lower state. They see us without knowledge, without our heritage, for a certain dispensation of time, and will not suffer our dead bodies be put in graves. See, when you put a dead body in a grave, not only are you keeping the law, right, but you are also preserving that body. And not in terms of idolatry, but you're putting that body at rest. You're not allowing it to be torn by the beasts of the field or destroyed by the harsh elements and be plucked up by crows or wild venomous beasts, man, and vermin. So the nations, they see us dead, but they don't help out. They don't give you your heritage. They don't give you your nationality, right? And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall sing gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Meaning these nations rejoice when you don't know your heritage. They make merry, right? They do slave trades, sell you across the world, then profit off of your ignorance. The Lord lets you know when you are not under the protection of the Most High, keeping the commandments, serving the Lord, don't know who you are. These nations turn up. Let's get that in the book of Lamentations, chapter 2. They turn up on you, man. They literally have festivities and has had festivities like the day of New Year's, Christmas. Remember, we were Christmas gifts, man. Being sold to Master Johnson, being sold to Master damn Smith. New Year's Day was not a day of mirth for our people of old. New Year's Day was the day, what do they call it? Heartbreak Day. They used to call New Year's Eve Heartbreak Day because on New Year's Day, that was the top day of selling slaves, right? This Lamentations chapter 2 and 15. So they would have feast days and rejoice, man. Lamentations 2 and 15. All that passed by clapped their hands at thee. They hissed and wagged their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? So they clap, right? They celebrate and they mock and scoff sarcastically as you smoke your crack, as you are on your fentanyl, as you are locked up in prison, when your pants are hanging off your damn behind, man. When your women are doing videos on how they like to deal with 1,000 men. They say, these are people of the Lord. These niggas, the ones up there who could barely function, the ones who could barely read, stand upright, think for themselves. These the Israelites? Got these Negroes right where we want them. Right, verse 16. All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, check this out. Certainly, this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. So the day that they look for, the best day to the heathen, is the day that you don't know your nationality, the day that you are destroyed, the day that you don't know your heritage, the day that you don't know your language, the day that you don't have an identity, the day that you don't know your God or how to receive salvation. That is the day that they look forward to. But guess what? Those days are over. So if mirth and gladness and sending gifts and making merry is a byproduct of your ignorance, what do you think is a byproduct of you receiving knowledge, knowing that you're the Israelites, knowing your heritage, knowing your nationality, knowing how to repent, abstaining from worldly festivities, coming out of Christmas, so-called Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Halloween, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day. Stop spending money on backwoods, cigarillos, weed, papers, all types of folly, alcohol, perversion. This day that they look for becomes a dark day to them. You waking up is a dark day to these heathen, man. Right? You waking up is a dark day to these heathen. The Lord hath done that which he hath devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he hath commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and hath not pitied. And he hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. So the Lord said, now your enemies, they rejoice over you. But that joy is being turned to mourning due to our people waking up. And that's what Revelation 11 and 10 is talking about. They will rejoice and make merry and send gifts and have secret festivities when you didn't know your heritage due to the time when we tormented them. We're the two prophets that torment them. But it says because these two prophets, right, on one level, you can break that. That's a threefold scripture. One level, Elijah and Moses, right? On one level, is speaking about Judah and Israel, and on a deeper spiritual level, goes into the spirit of Zerubbabel and Joshua being a king and a priest of Yahushua, right? But on a surface level, it applies to Judah and Israel. We tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And these are the days you're living in right now. After these 3 days and a half, we're standing on our feet. And that's why you have men standing up. Where is it said? You have men standing up, and they're not backing down, man. Right? They are not backing down. I had this pulled up. Let's see. Because certain men are standing on their feet, and they're not going to be content with anything. Look at this. So here's the net statement, right? Shams Charania, right? If I'm pronouncing that right. So here's the net statement. If you didn't know, Kyrie Irving was suspended, right? Suspended for, I believe, 5 games. 5 games. Right, I had the link pulled up, but I'm sure you know. We are of the view that he is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. We have decided that Kyrie will serve a suspension without pay until he satisfies a series of objective remedial measures. See that? You see that right there? He's unfit to be part of the team. Basically, we break it down, right? Out on the most simple level. Until this man bends over backwards and bows down to us as the so-called Jew, we're cutting his money. We're cutting his money. We're going to cut his account. We're going to cut him from the team. We're going to take everything from him till he bends over backwards, right? And let us do God, and let us do whatever we want to do to him. Until he turns to Shaq, Charles Barkley, the rest of these coons. Until he comes and becomes a new person and repents of calling himself a Jew, or really saying that he's not anti-Semitic, then we're just going to cut him. That's what this means. Suspended without pay until he satisfies a series of objective remedial measures. Meaning, look, we want this guy to come out and completely denounce anti-Semitism. We want him to come out and maybe do charity work. See, a series meaning a great multitude of things, of events. That's what a series is, a multitude of events, right? Or things. So they want him to do a list of things to satisfy the so-called white man's lust of power and greed. You know? Now here's the statement, right? Let's see. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's not that long. It says over the net. They just posted this today, if I'm not mistaken. Over the last several days, we have made repeated attempts to work with Kyrie Irving to help him understand the harm and anger of his words and actions, which began with him publicizing a film containing deeply disturbing anti-Semitic hate. And we've covered, I'm not going to go in depth breakdown on anti-Semitic hate. We get the deal. We know what's up, right? That documentary, Hebrews to Negroes, speaks about the fact that the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American men are the Israelites, man. How we went from being known as Hebrews and knowing that we are Hebrews, more importantly, than becoming a byword, right? We believe that taking a path of education and this challenging, look at this. We believed that taking the path of education and this challenging situation would be the right one. So hold on now. So he's not Helm. So this is mockery. So the so-called black man, knowing his heritage is not education. See, the only true education, according to this world, is the so-called white man's education, right? Conforming to the ways of the Grecians. Because they say we believe that taking the path of education and this challenging situation will be the right one, right? So the only good education is letting you know that the education of the scriptures, the education from God, is not welcome in this society. Right? That's what they're saying. The education of God, the Bible, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, is not permissible nor welcome, neither is it accepted up in our ranks. That's what they're saying. Now they can phrase it. See, we see all through his serpentine talk. We can see all through his little games and charades and lies. You know? The Lord said the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made, man. Right? Let me get this in 2 Maccabees, the 4th chapter. Actually, let me go to 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter. Right? Let's go to 1 Maccabees, chapter 1. And we're going to get down. Right? 1 Maccabees, chapter 1. See, they're going to, I believe someone made a comment on here. Who's this? 2nd Ezra 6:54 through 59. They wanted to take their mark and pledge allegiance to Amalek. See that this goes beyond. This is beyond an RFID chip. This is beyond. That's a beautiful comment. It's beyond a materialistic thing. This is Esau. He wants you to see. He gets off on you not knowing your heritage. He wants you to just bow down to his ways, man. All it takes is a little bit for the so-called white man to know he have you. Right? That's all it takes. Even if you shake their hand. That's why a lot of Edomites, they like, just shake my hand. Right? You brothers have been at camp. You teach them the highways and byways. When Esau's cut up, they say, all right, I'll have a good one. Or have a good day. And they reach their hand out. They show you that in the movie Django. How Esau power trips with the handshake. It don't have to be the most with Esau. As long as he know he got you by a little bit, that's enough for him. Because if you know he got you by that much, he got you completely. So if he say, and you shake his hand, he know he got you. That means all that talk, all that stuff you don't believe in. You don't really believe in that because you still love me a little bit. I still can get you. I still have you. So Esau don't necessarily have to I mean, he could do it. But you don't have to put nothing inside of you to get for him to know that you belong to him. He wants this man to confess with his mouth. And that's really how it's always been, man. He wants you to confess with your mouth and denounce Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And once you do that, then you get paid. Then you can go do what you buy and get your money and do God knows what. We're cutting you off without pay until you conform to the beast. 1 Maccabees 1:41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Right, and this king is King Antiochus during the time of the Greek Empire, who during his Seleucid Empire said that we're all going to be one people. You Egyptians, you Samaritans, you Chaldeans, you whoever. We want all the order to be called Greeks. Everybody's going to be one Greek. And you're going to leave your laws. Whatever customs and heritage and identities that you identify with, leave it all behind. And all of the heathen agreed. Because they're weak. They don't have a God. According to the commandment of the king. But guess who else is weak? Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. You see that? They consented to his religion. They said, yes, master, we will bow down. That's why a lot of people who speak out against Amalek, they end up apologizing. Or you have men, Jake, top celebrities, you get paid off by Esau to try to calm things down and make Jake, who stands up for the truth, a bad guy. Like Shaq, Charles Barkley. I saw another celebrity who said Kyrie just needs to calm down. He needs to owe them an apology. Because Jake consent to the religion of the so-called white man. Now, this religion See, the Greeks had a polytheistic so-called religion in which they worship a pantheon of gods. Pan meaning all, theon goes back to theo, which means God. They worshiped all gods of their customs, i.e. Zeus, Hera, Apollos, Aphrodite, Artemis, etc. It's this religion in 1 Maccabees 1:43. It goes even beyond that. Their religion is the same religion of Esau in America today. This religion is essentially Babylonianism. And I'm speaking about, when I say Babylonianism, you say, oh, I never heard that religion. I looked it up online. I only see Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddha. Babylonianism goes back to the ancient times of Genesis, the 11th chapter, under Nimrod, when all people are one people, and all same speech, and all same customs, for the glorification of man. It's nothing but Babylonianism. That's what the Most High say requires that which is past. Right? It reads, for the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they shall follow the strange laws of the land. You see that? And they're sending letters out. They're making statements, laws, decrees, saying, look, you cannot speak up against us. That's hate. You can call yourself anything, but you can't call yourself an Israelite. Call yourself a nigger. You can call yourself a black man, a Hispanic man, a 5%er, a Muslim. You can call yourself a Buddhist, a Nuwapian, an Egyptologist. You could be a man and call yourself a woman. You could be a black man and be transracial. You could be an athlete. You could be a comedian. You can be anybody. And that's fine. But you better not call yourself an Israelite. You better get down with these strange laws of this land. That's what Esau does. And a lot of Jakes consent to it. Now, it doesn't seem to be the case with, where is this man at? With Kyrie Irving. Because he doubled down on it. You know, he said, I'm going to pull up the interview. You can watch the interview, but he pretty much doubled down on it. You know? So I'm going to read this again. I'm going to read on where I left off. It says, we believe that taking a path of education and this challenging situation would be the right one, and thought that we had made progress with our joint commitment of eradicating hate and intolerance. We were dismayed today when given an opportunity in a media session that Kyrie refused to unequivocally say he had no anti-Semitic belief. And you watched the interview. They was pressing them out. They said, well, Kyrie, I think we want a yes or no answer. See, at first they was beating around the bush. Kyrie Irving, you know, he was saying what he was saying. They said yes or no. It says that Kyrie refused to unequivocally say he had no anti-Semitic beliefs, nor acknowledge specific hateful material in the film. This was not the first time he had the opportunity, but failed to clarify. Such failure to disavow. Look at this. To disavow. This just, what is the word I'm looking for? Man, this is madness. Such fail. All I think about when I hear that, such failure to disavow, that stirs me up. It reminds me of Daniel, the 3rd chapter. Right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, read it. Hananiah, Azariah, Mishael, known as the so-called three holy children. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They didn't disavow what the king hath commanded. They said, O king, Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. We will not bow down or serve you. And they were thrown in the furnace. Daniel didn't disavow the Most High. It says when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his chamber, his room, with the windows being open, and prayed 3 times a day as he always did, paraphrasing. Eleazar in 2 Maccabees 6, where is the account of him disavowing? The 7 brethren and their mother in the following chapter, in 2 Maccabees 7, show me the time that they disavowed. And we can go on and on and on. See, that's what the so-called white man wants you to want. I mean, really wants. He's showing you what he wants. He wants you to denounce the truth and denounce your God, Yahweh, and his son Yahweh Shai, and denounce the fact that you are a Hebrew Israelite. That's what he wants. Now, when you don't do that, they start cutting you up, man. Physically, monetarily, financially, I mean, on every way possible. They start digging and pressing you out. And this ultimately, it's not just going to be, okay, you got suspended. They're going to kill the servant of the Lord for this. Now, I'm going to go back to this. Actually, let me finish reading this. Then I'm going to get what I want, Lord willing. So it says, such a failure to disavow anti-Semitism, when given a clear opportunity to do so, is deeply disturbing. It's against the values of our organization and constitutes conduct detrimental to the team. Accordingly, we are of the view that he is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. We have decided that Kyrie will serve a suspension without pay until he satisfies a series of objective remedial measures that address the harmful impact of his conduct, and the suspension period served in no less than 5 games. So they're pretty much giving him 5 games to get his you-know-what together. They're giving him 5 games. Kyrie, we give you 5 games to think about it. After 5 games, we're going to have a review. If you hold on to it, you're out. You're done. So we'll see. You know, I don't know their schedule. You know, I'm sure it's something you can type in. Let's see, Brooklyn Nets schedule. So they kind of give you time to think about it, man. Let's see. They got let's see, 5 games. So they got a game tomorrow on the Sabbath. Let's see. Let's see these 5 games. Right? And I want to see the time period that they're giving this man. Right? I want to see the time period, Salakia, that they're giving him. Salakia. So you got November 7th. See how it should be an easier way to put us up. All right, Salaki, I thought this would be an easier way to pull us up. Let's see. All right, here you have it. All right, so he has a game tomorrow. That's game 1. He suspended that game. He suspended on the 7th. Hold on. It's lucky. He suspended on the 5th. So you got a game tomorrow, which is what, the 4th? He got a game tomorrow on the 4th. That's suspension. He got a game on the 5th. That's suspension. So the Most High gave him off on the Shabbat. Right? The Lord got him off on the Shabbat. You got to keep the Sabbath. Right? He's off on the 7th. He's off on the 9th. He's off on the 12th. That's 5 games. And I'm led to believe they're going to meet up with him either Saturday on the Sabbath or after the Sabbath. And they're going to meet up with him, man. Before the Lakers game, they're going to say, look, it's the Lakers. It's a big money maker for you. All right, you're in LA. Before you get on that plane to LA, Kyrie, we need you to hold a press conference and say and read this script. Before you get on that plane to Los Angeles, we need you to say what we tell you to say, and you better say it. Now, I tell you what, if it gets to November 13th, because that's 5 games, and if he triples down, he's out. They're cutting him. And this is where you're really made. I'm not gonna, this is where, I'll put it like this. Well, this is where you're made. Either you fold and you take that trip to LA. If Kyrie Irving is on a plane to LA, then we know. But if Kyrie Irving is in Brooklyn or with his family or with the Israelites, serving the Most High, he go to camp. He's reading the Bible, he's studying, he prays, he fasts. Then we know something else. Let's go to the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. Right? Let's go to Revelation, the 13th chapter. So they gave him 5 games. Right? They gave him 5 games. And Esau, he's not going to give you 5 games to think about it. You might be in a FEMA camp for 5 days. Right? You might be looking at the guillotine. You might be on a run, the pilgrim of the earth. Things are going to heat up. Right? Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, the image of the beast is more of a spiritual image than a physical image. See, a physical image is not enough, right? The so-called white man's not walking around with a physical image today. His image is what he stands for, his character, his name, right? His reputation, what he's about, which ultimately goes into his philosophies, his doctrines, his customs. You have to bow down to his way of life. And when I say his way of life, speaking about his ways that go against the Most High, which is pretty much everything. Now, I'm going to get a precept on his image, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 73, right? Psalms chapter 73. The Lord said, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. In the book of Psalms, chapter 73. Right? Psalms chapter 73 and verse 20. As a dream when one awaketh, so, O Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. You see that? When the Lord returns, he's going to despise their image. Meaning what? Wickedness, pedophilia, the LGBTQRS community, man. Creeps, pestilence that they have created, lies, extortion, murder, deceit, strip clubs, GMO foods, damn sorcery, magic, sin. The Most High is going to despise their image, right? Just like the Most High has conformed us and molded us into the image of his Son. Right? Let me get that in Romans chapter 8 after this precept. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 10. And that put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. So when you're renewed in knowledge, you're renewed after the image of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. When the Most High said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, that image is spiritual. The likeness is physical. You see, the likeness is hands, or maybe a head, torso, neck. That's the likeness. This is the reason why you have the appendages in the arms and your body is created the way it's created. You have hair, lips, nose, eyes. That's the likeness of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Because the Most High has a head. That's why you have one. The Most High has arms. That's why you have arms, etc. But now the image is different because not every Israelite fits the description of Yahushua, but yet they're made in his image. You have Israelites with lighter skin, but they're still made in the image of the Most High. You have Israelites that don't necessarily have thick woolly hair, but they're still made in his image. So the image is not more so of a physical thing, but it's a spiritual thing. What do you represent? Right? What do you stand for? You know, just like we use this example all the time. When people want to tarnish somebody's image, it's not speaking about going to their house and cutting off their face out of all of the images, all of the paintings. When you want to tarnish somebody's image, you want to ruin their reputation. I mean, that's just plain. So there's an image of the beast, and you have to worship his image, his character, his reputation, what he stands for. You have to be like him. The Most High made you in his image. Esau wants you to be made in his image. And if you don't, you'll be killed. That's how you know he wants to play God. He wants to be like the Most High. Because if you don't want to live in the image of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you get put to death. Because the wages of sin are death. If you don't move in the image of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you're dead. You will be judged. Esau said, I like that idea. That sounds interesting. I want to be God. I want to do the same thing. I'll make my own way of life, my own image, my own system. And if man doesn't bow down to my system, I'll kill him too. I'll behead him. I'll crucify him. I'll lynch him. I'll rape him. I'll do I'll do whatever I want to do. That's what that's saying. Now, when it says he had power to give life to his image, how do you give life to your image? Because it's not speaking about a painting. Not a painting gets up and it starts talking. Hey, well, how did I get here? And grows legs and begins to walk around. I have life. I'm a real painting. No. You give life unto your image by what? By your actions. You know? So the image of Esau is sin. How does he give life unto it? He makes sin live. Right? How? By enforcing wicked customs, wicked laws. That's how he makes his image live. By setting up strip clubs, right? By pretending to be God's chosen people, falsifying the image of Hamashiach Yahushua, saying it's okay to smoke cigarettes, eat pork, break the Sabbath. That's you giving life unto your image. And if you don't get down with these things, chiefly bowing down to the beast, disavowing the Most High, you'll be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, the same thing we read in Proverbs chapter 7. The Most High said, keep thy law in your fingers, or bind upon your fingers, and write them in the tables of thine heart. Right? Same thing in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Right? Proverbs chapter 7. See, the spirit doesn't change. Right? Yahushua is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Proverbs 7:3. Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the tables of thine heart. That's not literal. Doesn't mean you have a literal table in your heart. It's not literally binded in your fingers. Right? Even if we went to the Hebrew words, right? For bind, for write, to do these things, it's not literal. It's spiritual. People that get down with this system, you have to live and do the works of the beast and wickedness, and accept their philosophies and customs in your mind. You have to denounce Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You have to confess and get down with their lies in order to prosper. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. So you can't buy or sell if you got the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right, so the mark, the name, and the number, they all go hand in hand. Right? You cannot buy or sell unless you have the name of the beast. It's not a literal name. Your name, when it says name, it's not talking about a name tag. Or they give you a new ID. Here's your new name. Your new name is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Here, take that. You say, no, I don't want to take that. And they say, well, you won't buy or sell. Right? That's not what it's talking about. Well, you get a sticker with your name. Your name was Fred. Now your name is John. Here, you're Fred now. I don't want to be Fred. No, your name is what you stand for. It's saying the same thing. Your name, your image, they go hand in hand. Somebody may say, look, you're giving me a bad name. Does that mean you turned their name from a Hebrew name to a English name? You're giving me a bad name. You're ruining their reputation. If you don't have the spirit of the beast, then you're not going to prosper in this society. If you don't have even the number of his name, does that mean he's going to give you an actual number? You go to the DMV or the MBA or whatever you call it, and you go get that little, pull that little tab, and you wait for your number to be called to get in line. Now, and you hear the microphone from the old lady now calling number 245. And you're waiting to get called in line, and okay, you got your number, then you wait, and they say 246, and you got your number. Okay, is it me? Then they say 247, and you get your number. You say, you get up and get in line because they have your number. Is that what it's talking about? Is Esau giving out numbers like the DMV? No, this number is 666. Is he giving the actual 666 out? No, there's no actual 666 he's giving out. It's not literal. He's not literally giving you out a name. Here, pick a name. You got names in a hat. I don't want to pick a name in a hat. No, it's not what it's talking about. This is spiritual, right? If you don't get down with the beast and get down with his system, I mean, this is just a small fraction of what's going to happen to you, right? Where is it at? This is just a small fraction of what's going to happen. Just a small fraction. You'll be suspended without pay, right? We're cutting your money. Then they're going to completely void his contract, cut him off, you know? And ultimately, this is going to be a life or death kind of thing. If he doesn't confess and bow down to the beast, then he's not getting paid. He's not getting any money. He did the same thing to Kanye West. It took his money. It took what? He went from 11 billion to 6 billion. I'm not sure how much he's worth now. Let's see how much. Let's see Kanye net worth now. Let's see what they say. Maybe 400 million. That's what they're saying now. 400 million. Right? 400 million. Now they say, wait, 1 billion. Right? But anyway, it's nowhere near where it was before. Right? It's nowhere near where it was before. I think JP Morgan, they said no, and God knows what, and he's catching hell, man. Now, eventually, this thing is going to lead to life or death. It's going to go from, okay, we're cutting your pay to, hey, look, if you don't do this, we're going to kill you. Now, I had this pulled up. This is, I'm not sure if brother saw this. This was posted last month. Contemporary violent extremism, the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. So they have a whole in-depth breakdown. So we have in-depth breakdowns. They have in-depth breakdowns. We go precept upon precept. They go wicked law upon wicked statute upon a wicked law in their system. Right? And you see the clear image of the Israelites doing the work of the Most High, man. You know? And I believe this looks like IUIC right there. It says Israel United in Christ. So they got them out there. Black Hebrew Israelites, man. You know? So check this out. When you go through this, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but check this thing out, man. When you get some free time, 10-minute read, 15-minute read at the most. Now, this was posted from the George Washington University program on extremism. They have a program on extremism. So they did an in-depth breakdown for this. A U.S. Department of Homeland Security Center of Intelligence from the National, this is what this NCITE is, the National Counterterrorism, Innovation, Technology, and Education Center. See that? The NCITE. This is like devil horns turned to the side. This has to be some demonic logo. I can't make out what it is, right? But nevertheless, this is their breakdown, right? Now, like I said, I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's 21 pages long, but it was posted last month. And I want to jump down. There was a few key, and they break it down with their table of contents, right? Introduction, extremism, and the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. Black Hebrew Israelites and contemporary violent extremism, classifying and assessing the threat from Black Hebrew Israelite violent extremism, and a conclusion. Now I want to jump down, right? Like I said, you can read this on your own, Now they no longer identify us. I'm gonna put this out there as some black identity extremists. Now there's a new thing. They call us let's see where it's at. TVE, domestic violent extremism. Right? DVE. We went from black identity extremists, BIE. Now they say we're going to switch it and we're going to call them domestic violent extremism. You see that? See how they threw the word violent in there? Domestic. Domestic means within the country, which means you are they're looking at you as a domestic terrorist, right? You are a high level threat to be charged with domestic terrorism. Repeat that. If you are a Hebrew Israelite and you believe in this Bible and you believe in the Most High, you believe in Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, you have your fringes on, you're growing your beard out, they are looking at you as domestic violent extremism. Now let's jump down. Like I said, I'm not going to read this whole thing, right? But I'm gonna jump down. Let's see. I'm gonna jump down. Here's a point I want. Let's see. Boy, man, this whole thing is good, man. I mean, this whole thing is good. It says the diversity of ideological influences weighing on the Black Hebrew Israelite movement also characterizes, and you see how they label everybody pretty much as a Black Hebrew Israelite. You got people calling other Israelites Black Hebrew Israelites. And they look at you and you're a Black Hebrew Israelite. That's almost of a coon statement. They call other Israelites Black Hebrew Israelites when Esau looks at you like a Black Hebrew Israelite. It's absolute. I'm absolutely befuddled by the ignorance of particular individuals and particular people. They're all classified. They're not going to, nobody's going to sit there and say, well, this is Sakari. Well, leave them out of this. Well, this is IUIC. Leave them out of this. Don't persecute them. Don't persecute GMS. Don't persecute WFI or Sons of Thunder. They're different. They said they're different. Teach a little bit different. You have to be out of your mind and completely unaware of your enemy and his tactics and how he feels about you and his dire hatred that he has towards you. You think his hatred is going to let up on camp color and camp name? He's going to lose a little bit hatred because you wear a different camp color. Stop the madness. Stop it. Let's go to the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter. All right? Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 12. This, it really sickens me, and it's absolutely confounding, to say the least, that there can be such foolish statements, you know? And that's just me saying it is what it is, because that's the way it is, man. Right? And, you know, we don't bite our tongue, right? This Revelation chapter 12 and verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman. Who's the woman? The Israelites. Right? And not just any Israelite. The dragon's not wroth with the crackhead. The dragon is not wroth with the Nuwapian. They're not technically part of this woman. The dragon is not wroth with the weed head, with the whore, with the gangbanger. They're doing what Esau wants them to do. They're wroth at the woman. The woman is about to tell you who the woman is. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which what? Which keep the commandments of God. And have the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. That's who Esau's targeting. Right? And as far as I'm concerned, just about every major congregation or minor congregation, they believe in keeping the commandments. I haven't really seen an Israelite group that doesn't believe in the commandments I could be wrong. You can say, well, what about this? But the ones that I think of off the top of the head, they believe in keeping the commandments. Not only that, it says they have the testimony of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Now, what is a testimony? Right? What is the testimony of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai? Right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10. Right? Revelation chapter 19 and 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship God, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So if you are going into the prophecy, if you have the spirit of prophecy to go into the breakdowns, to go into the scriptures, to teach the people, to declare the judgments of God that are to come nigh on the earth and in the world to come, that's the spirit of prophecy. And brothers, go into the spirit of prophecy. You go into the promises that the Most High has in store for us. You speak about the chariots delivering us. You speak about the nations being destroyed. You speak about the heathen going into captivity. These are these are clear fruits of the spirit of prophecy. So Esau, he's not looking at you as just a camp. He's looking at the Israelites as a whole, who keep the commandments and have the spirit of prophecy. War against you, right? You know? And that's why when you go back to this article, let's go back to this. They call Israelites the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, right? Also characterizes the range of socio-political engagement methods. See if I can make this a little larger. And the use by the movement followers. This is particularly true with the movement's extremist fringe, which expands the idea of black descendants from the biblical Israelites to argue, inter alia, that what? That white people are the offspring of Satan. So if you teach that white people, and guess what? We teach that, right? We teach it. You got us, right? Oh, well, we teach it. It's in the Bible. It's in Revelation, the 12th chapter. That old serpent called the devil and Satan, that's tied to Herod. And every Israelite knows that breakdown, just about. Not saying that all Israelites, they're on that, that level, but that's a common understanding amongst the Hebrew Israelites, that in Revelation, the 12th chapter, the Roman Empire is known as the synagogue of Satan, or the red dragon. Let's get it. Let's not talk about it. Let's read it real quick, right? Let's go to Revelation, the 12th chapter. Right, we all up and down in Revelation through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Right, and this is not going to be a whole Revelation 12 breakdown, but we went through this, and we'll do. We may go through that whole lesson on another day. Now, even Esau has the red dragon, Satan, right? And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, which is like having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. Now, this is dealing with the Roman Empire and its 7 major kingdoms, from Greece to Britain, to Spain, to Russia, to Germany, to France, right? Rome, Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain, 10 horns, right? Your European Union, 7 crowns, top men, right? Rulership of Esau. So he's likening to that red dragon, the Roman Empire. Verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So dig that. The Roman Empire, your modern day Roman Empire, I believe a brother said is NATO, right? Which it is, NATO and the EU. They are called the devil. So the white man is called the devil in the Bible. He's also called Satan. And so they got this right? All right, they got it right. They've been watching. Either they've been watching the breakdowns, and I'm led to believe they watched the breakdowns. So let's say it's 160 people on the live. Maybe 5 of them are Edomites, man. Maybe they're taking notes. Maybe they're recording and they're stressing out and they're studying and they're writing the precepts too. and they got to report it to the higher ups, man. The higher ups, they see the breakdown, right? They get the breakdown, ball it up, God damn it, and they damn throw it, man. And they spin around in their chair, and they look at the organizational chart with all of the Hebrew Israelites in the camps, and they got the rubber bands attached to them and the newspaper dates, and they take darts and they throw it at them. So, yeah, white people are the offspring of Satan. All right? I mean, it is what it is. Can't you tell? It says, and today, so here's what else they say, and that today's white Jews are usurpers or imposters. Boy, that would be a 4-hour lesson within itself. Usurpers or imposters. And I believe I was talking to, I think the one in WFI Baltimore, right? And we were saying that they have yet to even challenge it, man. They haven't challenged it. Where's the show me recently since Kanye West or anybody has been speaking up, Kyrie Irving, that they have come out and proven that they are the biblical Jews of the Bible? What information have they brought out? If it's such a lie and it's so full of hate, I mean, prove it wrong. Prove it wrong. I believe IUIC put out a challenge. They said, prove, I saw it on Instagram, prove that we are the Jews, or that you are the Jews, man. I mean, and that's a point, man. And they have yet to come out with any artifact, any record, any book, any document, any manuscript, any damn painting, any pottery, any damn piece of an ancient cloth, a damn thread, anything to show that that these men are lying. Where's and that's why they're having this. Look, they see Esau, he can't speak against the truth. He just tries to control the truth. He tries to put a spin and a narrative on it. Since he can't compete and go toe-to-toe with because you can't go toe-to-toe against the words of God and the words of the Most High. So he has to try to manipulate, control, alter words, and cause confusion. Now, that's why they're having these summits. Look at this. Never is now. Right? Never is now. Now, the never is now is a summit they're having, the world's largest annual summit on anti-Semitism and hate. Right? So they're trying to have these summits and have these different events. And I believe when you look this up, the top rabbi, he's going to be there. You know? The damn Congress lady, they're going to be there. So they try to have these summits, these different events, public and private, to try to come up with tactics to stop the truth, you know, and raise support for Amalek and their cause. Now, when you pull this back up, Salaki, let me pull this back up. Right? White Jews, right, which are really Edomites, are usurpers or imposters. Arguably, the decisive line separating the vast majority of Black Hebrew Israelite adherents who do not subscribe to these claims and Black Hebrew Israelite extremists are their views on Jews who are not in the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. Most Black Hebrew Israelites view white Jews, we know what they mean when they say white Jews, as legitimately Jewish. And I don't know where they got that from. Right? I'm not sure. I don't know any. Just because I don't know don't mean these people don't exist. But nevertheless, I can't think, should I say, of any what they call Black Hebrew Israelite who looks at the Amalekite man and says, yeah, that guy's the people of the Bible. That makes no sense. Unless I'm reading that wrong. Right? The Black Hebrew Israelite fringe, which that just may be a divisive tactic of Esau. The Black Hebrew Israelite fringe believes that they are the Edomites. the descendants of the biblical figure Esau, thus placing them outside of the fold of the biblical Israelites, who are the descendants of Esau's brother Jacob. So they've been watching the breakdowns. They've been at camp. They've been asking questions. They've been agents, false brethren, unawares. They're on the lives. They're taking notes. They said these people teach that, Edomites are the so-called white people and or the synagogue of Satan. And look, they pulled the precept referencing Revelation 3 and 9. So they've been at camp. They're watching the videos, obviously. Right? I'm going to read a little bit more and I'm going to move on. Sadly, the most publicly visible aspects of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement today are arguably representative of this fringe. Residents of major cities, particularly on the East Coast, are perhaps most familiar with extremist Black Hebrew Israelite groups due to their employment of caustic street preaching, in which groups of members of Black Hebrew Israelite extremists factions like the One West camp. So somebody might get fired because I can't think of a camp called the One West camp. So One West, you have what they call camps that come out of One West, and that's a whole thing for another day that elder men could go more into than I can, which we still know about it and know things, us younger brothers in the truth, because we have elders that we talk to and elders of that nature. But nevertheless, One West camp is not a camp, right? There's no camp called the One West camp. So their guy, he kind of brought back some bad intel, all right? So Black Hebrew Israelite factions like the One West camp, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, right? That's ISUPK, and others verbally accost passers-by around busy intersections and major public transportation hubs in New York City, Washington, D.C., Baltimore. Wonder what camp is in Baltimore, Philadelphia, and other cities. And you do have major camps in New York City, man. DC, Baltimore, Philly, Black Hebrew Israelite extremists, public demonstrations referred to by adherents as camps are highly confrontational. I'll tell you what, 90%, 95, maybe 98% of our camps are not highly confrontational. When we're out there teaching, it's smooth. Rarely do things get confrontational. Just straight teaching, highways and byways, sealing the elect, right? According to the will of the Most High, right? The Lord said in Luke 14, but you know how these devils got to twist stuff all up and down. Talking about they're highly confrontational, highly, right? Let's go to Luke chapter 14 and 23. So these are, we expect the slander. We read in the Psalm chapter 50, thou speakest against thy brother and slanderest thine own mother's son. Luke 14 and 23. And the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. So that's what we're doing, right? We're just simply going out according to the will of the Most High. The Lord said, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets, in a chief place of concourse. In Proverbs chapter 1, 20 on down. So we're going out into the highways and hedges. You may see brothers posted up outside of gas stations and a bypass of a busy intersection, maybe at a bus stop, maybe at a downtown shopping center, a strip mall, tourist attractions, wherever the masses at the mall, wherever the mass of the people are going to be, that the Lord's house may be filled, because our people are out there, man. Even the Apostle Paul, he was in the marketplace daily disputing with the Jews, right? Even the Apostle Paul, he was out there, Now, if this is supposed to be some Christian society, if Yahushua was on the earth with the 12, they would call that a camp. They would say Yahushua and those 12 guys that camp. They would call him a black Hebrew Israelite identity, a black Hebrew Israelite extremist. Right? That's what they would call him. Now, this is Acts 17 and 17. Therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews. Right? Speaking about the Apostle Paul. And with the devout persons, and then the market daily with them that met with him. So the market is where everybody's at, man. The agora. You know, people are buying fruit, fish, meat, vegetables, you know, garments, pottery, things of that nature. And Paul was out there every day, daily, disputing. A dispute is confrontational. You know, that's what the word dispute means. It's like an argument. They say a dialogue. Right? It's really a argument, an art, a challenge. When you dispute something, you challenge it. You go against it. All right? That's essentially what that means. Let's see that word in the Greek, dialegomai, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Pull that back up, Salakia. This is the Greek word for dispute in Acts the 17th chapter. Right, if it plays.
Strong's G 1256. Dialegomai. Dialegomai.
Dialegomai, right? Now it says to think different things with oneself, mingle thought with thought, to converse, discourse with one, argue, discuss. So it's really an argument. An argument or exhortation, dispute. So Paul got into arguments, man. He was disputing the word of the Most High. Now they're saying we're highly confrontational, right? Absolute madness. Of course, you're going to have disputes, but you know how Esau paints highly confrontational. A group of so-called black men and Hispanic men are out there being highly confrontational. Right? They say we're frequently imbued with the extremist BHI fringes, most vitriolic beliefs, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, including, check this out, anti-Semitism. So if you're at camp and the worst belief that you could believe in is anti-Semitism, right? Anti-Semitism, Holocaust denialism, misogynist, and homophobic beliefs, and calls for white people to be sold into slavery. See that? So these are some, they say these guys are some highly confrontational, anti-Semitic, Holocaust denying, misogynistic, homophobic people who's calling for white people to be sold into slavery. So here's, like I said, I'm not going to read this whole thing. That's only page 7, right? You can check this thing out on your own. This was posted last month. Contemporary violent, let me get back to it. Contemporary violent extremism and the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, right? This is the program on extremism from the George Washington University National Counterterrorism Innovation, Technology, and Education Center, right? So these are the things that are happening on the earth, man, right? These are the things that are happening in the earth. Let me see. You had another thing I want to show. You had what does Kyrie Irving see in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories? This was by Jamel Hill. I didn't mean to click on that name, but that's an Eve. And I believe she got fired. She used to be part of ESPN, but I believe got fired because she was outspoken too. I believe she was outspoken. They said, look, we can't deal with no women like that. she's causing hell, right? So I believe she left or she quit, and then she, she got another job, and she was speaking about some stuff, but I can't quite remember. So let's see. Let's see. Salaki, bear with me. I'm not gonna read this whole thing. Let's see. Bear with me. Salaki. It says this is the same player who missed Brooklyn's home games last season and turned down $100 million in contract because he refused to take that thing. Right? And he seems to feel that couching ideas in shallow intellectualism or just claiming to be misunderstood is enough to shield him from any real criticism. When challenged about something he believes, Irving just digs in, no matter the consequences. So even Eve is writing about this thing, man. Right? And everybody's talking about it. He also said that black people couldn't be anti-Semitic. They're Jewish at the roots. Right? I believe that's what Kanye West said. We can't be anti-Semitic. We're Jewish at the roots. So again, these are the things happening on the earth, right? They're labeling you identity extremist. Here's another thing. This is from FBI Newark, right? I can say, well, don't bring that out. Why are you talking about? Why did you say the word FBI? Why are you speaking about that? Maybe you should. Hey, look, we're supposed to speak up. Now we're supposed to bring this thing out, man. Go into the prophecies, go into the breakdowns, go into the scriptures, and eventually, and we're gonna have to give our life for this thing, man. If you fold now, then God knows what's going to happen to you. And when real persecution cracks down, when you're kicked out of your home, when you have everything forcibly taken away from you, when you're separated from your family, you better get strong now, man. And gird up your loins like a man and make you ready to the battle. That's what the Lord said in 2 Ezra chapter 16. He said, "Oh, my people, make you ready to the battle," because this thing is about to be a fight. And I'm not speaking about hand-to-hand combat, a mental, spiritual fight. That's what this thing is about to be. Right? Let's get this precept real quick in 2 Ezra, the 16th chapter. Oh, they're talking about the FBI. They're saying black Hebrew identity extremists. Don't bring that out. Don't say nothing. Just hold your tongue. And we're not going to hold our tongue, man. We cannot but speak the things that we have seen and heard. Right? We cannot but speak the things that we have seen and heard. That's in the book of Acts, the 4th chapter. We'll get that too, Lord willing. Right? 2 Ezra chapter 16 and 40. "Oh, my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose." So all your possessions, you're not going to be able to hold on to them. Right? Things that you may have sold for money or whatever, you're going to have to leave that. Things that you're buying, a new house, a new car, a new speaker, new headphones, new shoes, you're going to lose it. And then you might say, well, I ain't going to lose nothing. Hey, look, brother, you think you're going to be traveling with a mobile home in those days? You think you're going to take all of your worldly possessions with you in the days of evil? You have to leave that behind, man. The Lord said, remember Lot's wife in Luke 17:31 on down. Don't look back. He that is in the field, let him not return back. He that is on the housetop, let him not go back, man. You have to be willing to lose it all like that. Just like that. Are you willing to let it all go? At a drop of a dime. If all hell was to break loose 5 minutes from now, would you be willing to lose it all like that? I don't know, man. That's tough. I got to think about it. Well, if that's your mentality, I got to think about it. It's time for you to pray. and fast, which is really time for all of us to do so, that the Most High builds up your faith, man. You understand that he builds up your hope and your trust in him. These are things that you should be praying for. Verse 42, he that occupieth merchandise as he that had no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. And therefore, they that labor in vain. So, meaning what? Worldly possessions, the materialistic things of this earth and life are going to be taken away from us. And you're not going to be able to enjoy how you want the things that you have for so long, because eventually you're going to have to be willing to let it all go, or it's going to be taken away from you. Now, to a man that loves the world, that's sad news. To a man that really doesn't believe in the truth, he gets down. He's depressed when he hears that. But to a man that fears God and has faith in the Most High, this is exciting. He takes joy in that. But to a man who really wants to hang on to the world, they kind of get down. Man, I really want to enjoy this. Well, we don't want to enjoy this place, man. We hate it here. We're looking to get out of here yesterday. We want to be gone last week. Oh, that this, even David said in Psalm chapter 14, oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When the Lord turned back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. And when you read that, you got to read that in the spirit, from a mind of a so-called black man being hunted by his enemies, speaking on behalf of his nation in captivity. Psalms 14:7. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. Like I said, you can't read that like an old white man. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. No, man. Like a creep. This is like, oh my God, man. Oh, that the Lord, like when you're at work, you working 12 hours. God, man, I wish I was just off. Damn, time is going by slow. Damn. That's the spirit behind this verse. Oh man, when is the Lord going to free us? When are we going to be delivered? Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad, man. This is your book, so you have to be in the spirit of your forefathers. So when you go back to this in second, actually, let me go back to this in this is FBI New Work. Now check out what they posted. This 7 hours ago, right? The FBI has received credible information of a broad threat to synagogues. Now check out the timing of this. Check out the timing. Coincidentally, as this great awakening is continually to escalate, now all of a sudden, now you have the FBI that has now received credible information of a broad threat to synagogues in New Jersey, which just so happens to be the place where the alleged quote unquote shooting done by quote unquote what they say Hebrew Israelites at a deli a few years back, when you have major Hebrew Israelite congregations. They're saying there's a threat to synagogues in New Jersey. We ask at this time that you take all security precautions to protect your community and facility. We will share more information as soon as we can. Stay alert in case of emergency. Call the police. So, I smell a false flag coming. I smell a false flag. I could be wrong. Now you can say, not Kwame, you're a conspiracy theorist, right? It's an actual legitimate threat, right? This is the real deal, right? Now, like I said, I smell a conspiracy theory. It's like a false flag, right? They said, well, what's a false flag? A false flag is essentially where the so-called white man, and we're going to use him in this definition because he's the chief devil on the earth. He's the chief devil. Is when you have a problem that has been caused. It can be violent, it can be an explosion, it can be a shooting, it can be a death, it can be an assassination, it can be anything detrimental to that society or to that kingdom or to that government or to those people. They're the government or that the rulers of that nation, they secretly do that wicked action and they blame another group of people so they can have reason to target those people and to enforce agendas that they've already had. Now, if that's too much, here's the definition, right, of a false flag. A false flag. I wouldn't be surprised if they banned the backup channel. If I wake up tomorrow, Lord willing, and I get a phone call from Yaradan, right, and WFI Detroit and says, hey, look, Naquam, they took the backup. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. A false flag operation, like we're not going to bite our tongue up here, man, right? We say what it is, right? Now, we do use wisdom where we know that certain words trigger an algorithm. So we do our best to use wisdom and not use words like the thing they put inside of you, or we tend to say Amalek. We try not to go and, do things in foolishness. But the truth is going to be brought out. A false flag operation is an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning blame on another party. The term false flag originates in the 16th century as an expression meaning an intentional misrepresentation of someone's allegiance. Look at that. Right? So they may do an attack, blame it on the Hebrew Israelites. It would be an opportunity to do so just to persecute the Hebrew Israelites. I'm gonna repeat that. Stage an attack against the Amalekites and blame it on Caps or the Hebrew Israelites just to persecute them. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 10 and 1. Right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10. Let's deal with it. Right? Let's deal with it. These are fundamental precepts, right? And we have to go through this, right? We have to go through this. Right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And unrighteous decrees are laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, right? Executive orders. These are things that the so-called white man writes grievously. Now, this would not be, if that were to happen, which I'm not, I'll say this, it's not far-fetched that it could happen. That wouldn't be the first time that something like that did happen. Nero, Emperor Nero, the 6th emperor of Rome. You had Julius Caesar. Some say, well, he wasn't the emperor dictator. He was the emperor, right? Or dictator. Julius Caesar. Then you had Octavian, which was his nephew. And then you had Tiberius. You read about in Luke, the 3rd chapter. Then you had Caligula. Then you had Claudius. Then you had Nero, right? Then you had Galba, Otho, etc. Nero, he did a false flag. Nero burned down Rome and blamed it on the Christians. That's something brothers can look up and go into. He burned down, I believe, a third part of Rome and blamed it on the Christians. Those who followed Christ, those who followed Yahushua, and used it as an opportunity to rape, rob, and murder and persecute the Israelites, feed them the lions in the Colosseum, use them as human torches, persecute them from city to city. These things were done during the time of the apostles. Peter himself was killed during the time of Nero. Paul himself was martyred. Him and Peter were martyred, and they fell asleep during the time of Nero. These are the unrighteous and wicked decrees that Esau has. Because he hunts like a roaring lion, right? That's Psalms. Let's go to Psalms chapter 10. Right? Let's go to Psalms, the 10th chapter. Right? Psalms chapter 10. And brothers are pulling good precepts. Right? First, let's go to the book of Daniel 8. Right? Because the brother put policies on there. Right? From Rest Bancraft. That's a good word. Right? Policies. This is Daniel chapter 8. And I'm going to go to verse 25. Right? Daniel chapter 8 and 25. Salakia. Right? It reads, Salakia. And through his policy, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. So through his policy, which are his laws, he's going to cause his craft to prosper. His craft is his sorcery, his witchcraft, right? His agenda. He's going to be successful based off of his policies, you know, and his chief policy, he likes to deal with false flags. That's his MO, right? That's how he moves. Now, rather, like I said, I don't know if this is legitimate. I don't know if it's true. You can't say what Naquam said. Well, look, we're just telling you what Esau likes to do, right? And it's coincidental that this just so happens to happen or be happening around the time of a massive awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. Very, very timely. Very, very timely. Now, let's see if they got an update. I want to go. Let's see if we have an update from this page. All right. Let's see. So like, yeah. So like they said, it could be a threat. Okay, that's the, let's see. I guess that was the update. Bear with me. Maybe a second. 5 hours ago. I could be wrong, but they really haven't posted since. The FBI takes all threats seriously, and we are working with our law enforcement partners, actively investigating this threat. We are also engaged with our faith-based partners in the affected community. What does that mean? To the Amalekites, right? We're talking to the Amalekites. That's what this means. We are engaged with our faith-based partners. We're talking to Amalek, and we're trying to see what's going on. Now there's a guy. I'm not about to be I'm not going to go into that, right? But I want to get this. There's where is this at? Let's see. I thought I had it pulled up. Okay, this is from End Time Headlines, right? This is posted at 9:07. Right, the FBI Newark's office, and you can corroborate this with multiple sources. You can look this up right on your own. The FBI's Newark office has issued a stark warning claiming it had received, quote unquote, credible information about a non-specific but wide-scale threat to synagogues in New Jersey. See that? So it just so happens to be around the time of Israel waking up. Right? Around the time of Israel waking up, repenting, and coming back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Now we don't know we don't know if Esau is going to say, look, the Israelites did this, and they show a guy on camera with fringes on, right, running out of a building that they paid some agent, some creep, some guy who took the bag, he took the deal, Judas. Let's see. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Okay, following the FBI's precautionary warning, governor, right? You will appear before governors. Phil Murphy said he is closely monitoring the situation and working with local law enforcement. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, if I'm pronouncing that right, said she had also been briefed, adding that there was no related threat in New York. The NYPD said it was also monitoring threat streams. Right. And this also happens to be around the time where we posted that, we're going to be holding camp out there. Right. It's no secret that we're going to be holding camp out in New York, man, on the 10th. It's not a secret. Right. We're going to be holding camp at the world's largest summit out there. So we're just putting that out there, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right. Let's go to the book of Psalms chapter 10. Right. Psalms chapter 10. Let's deal with it. Get a few more and wind down. Right. Psalms chapter 10. All right. Brother said, I'm going to get this quick precept. Let's see. I went 9, straight to the point. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. So Esau's just lying in wait, right? He's just waiting to enforce some type of wicked agenda that he has lined up, man, on how he's going to try to paint a false narrative against the Hebrew Israelites. Is he going to do a false flag? Is he going to have an agent? Is he going to do, is he trying to do whatever, He's going to try to pay a guy off and make him wear the outfit out and run out the building and do whatever. He put a WFI shirt on. They look at the WFI shirt, they make one just like it. They got him running out the synagogue, and on the back it says Genesis 4:9. They say he's part of the Hebrew Israelites. All right. He lieth, and you never see this Esau. You never know when you're dealing with the devil. You can say, well, that's extreme. I don't know about that one. That's far. Hey, look, when you're dealing with the devil, nothing's too far-fetched when it comes to his sorcery. Right? He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He's a hunter. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he doth what? When he draweth him into his net. So Esau is looking to draw you into his net. Too many Israelites are waking up. Too much truth is out there. Too much knowledge. So he's looking to draw you into a net, man. Now let me pull this up. All right, let me check something out. Bear with me 1 second. All right, let me pull this up. All right, bear with me. I have to get this. So, we're waiting. Right, we're waiting to see. So I can bear with me. Okay. Make sure I got this buffer. Okay. All right, Salakia. All right. And you could, like I said, you could watch that interview with Kyrie Irving on your own, and you can actually see he kind of had his hat on, like over his eyes, but he was still kind of adamant about what he stood on. Right? He was still adamant on what he stood on. Like I said, they suspended him 5 games, and we put up the schedule of the Brooklyn Nets. Right? They're giving him, I believe, what was the date? November 12th. Just go into the Brooklyn Nets schedule and see 5 games from now. That's the timeline that they're going to give this guy. Like I said, this guy, he could forsake it all. Like he already lost, $100 million because he didn't want to get that thing inside of him. But now, now his faith is being tested, and our faith is going to be tested on a higher level. This is a foreshadowing of what we're going to have to deal with. Right? We're going to have to give a testimony. We're going to have to give an account. Right? We're going to have to say these things, man. and stand on what we believe in through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It's not just going to be up in the hand of a celebrity or an athlete. Eventually, that's going to be you. You're going to be before governors. You're going to be before kings. You're going to have to give a testimony, man. And the Lord said, don't fear it, because the words that he puts in your mouth, let me get that real quick in Matthew, right? Those words are going to be given to you due to the spirit and power of the Most High, his son, man. I'm going to just read this real quick, and I'm going to pull this up on the screen. Right? This ain't Matthew chapter 10 and verse 19. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak. For it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. See that? So eventually you're going to be Kyrie Irving, but on a higher level. You're going to be Kanye West. You're going to have to make these decisions. And a lot of our decisions are eventually going to be a life or death kind of thing. You're looking at that, and it's easy to be on the outside looking in. But eventually you're going to be in those shoes on a massive level. You have to deal with it. But the Lord said, don't fear it, because the Most High is going to put it in your mouth what to say. Again, and you're not going to have sports broadcasters in front of you. You're going to have damn prison guards, sheriffs, SWAT team members, governors, kings, executioners. You're going to have it times 10. So there's a lot of spiritual aspects to what's happening on the earth right now as well. Now I want to pull this up. But the mighty brother Kasadia sent this through the spirit. Or like the brother Amaziah said, the Lord showing us what's to come. All right, let me pull this up. Like I said, you could watch this this interview on your own. I believe it's 8 minutes, 3 minutes, right? Yeah, like the brother said, he might not ever play again if you don't apologize. Yeah, you never know, man. If this guy doesn't apologize and doesn't, get down with the program, they may kind of cut this guy off, man. And he's going to have to make a decision. Are you going to bow down to the beast? I put that precept on Instagram today, man, the book of Esther. Right? Are you going to bow down to the beast, or are you not? And if you haven't read the book of Esther, read Esther. Why? Because the reason I'm not going to tell you the whole book, but the reason that Haman the Edomite, the Agagite, which went back to King Agag, an Amalekite, the reason he wanted to persecute and destroy all of the Jews, because we didn't bow down. Esther 3:1. After these things, the king Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above the princes that were with him. Now I want to go into this word Agagite. So, meaning the king of the Persians promoted this Edomite. Haman is an Edomite of Macedonia. It's like I clicked on the wrong thing. Right? He's an Edomite of Macedonia. All right. And he was promoted. Just like now, Esau's promoted. He's the top man on the earth. Right? The Lord said the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He doth what? He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So I want to pull this back up. So Salaki, bear with me. And I wanted to go into that word Agagite just to see what they had on it. Now, I believe when you go into it, it goes back to Agag, the king of the Amalekites you read about in the book of 1 Samuel, the 15th chapter. Said of Haman, the Agagite, I will overtop. Agag. So I believe it goes back to Agag. Right? See that? Haman, Amalekite. They put a question mark. Look at this. So Jewish tradition. Jewish tradition. Right? Which means ultimately it goes back to Haman being an Agagite, an Amalekite. Now check this out in the book of Esther. All right, let me pull this up. Salakia. All right, this is Esther chapter 3 and verse 2. So they promoted this man, right? Now it says, and all the servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. So they bowed down to the so-called white man, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. So Mordecai said, I'm not bowing down on you, man. I'm not bowing down, not kissing your ring. I'm not bending over. I ain't doing nothing. You were Edomite. I only bowed down to the Most High. And I damn sure ain't bowing down to no so-called white man. So these men, Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, you, me, we got to be in the spirit of Mordecai. We're not bowing down or reverencing no damn so-called white man. Not his philosophies, his pride, his gods, his customs. It says, but Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Why are you speaking up? Why are you going against the government? Because that's what he was doing, was going against the government of the king. Essentially treason. He went against the commandment of the king. You read about how powerful the king is in the book of First Ezra, the 3rd chapter, in the 4th chapter. Why are you going against the king's commandment? Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and that's what they're doing about Kyrie Irving. They're getting on him daily. Every day is a press conference. Every day is an interview. Every day you got to say something. Every day he got to report. So these devils are trying to vex you, man, and get you to break. They were trying to get Mordecai to break. You're not bowing down today? Oh boy, he's going to kill you. You don't want to do that. What about today, Mordecai? You're going to bow down? So they spake daily unto him. And Satan wants you to bow down daily. He's going to try to vex you daily, to sin, to go against the Most High, to give into the flesh, to bow down to the beast. That's what these demons do. They speak daily unto you to get you to sin against God. But guess what? And he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. So they what they call snitched. For he had told them that he was a Jew. And this is relevant now. We're not bowing down because we are the Jews. We don't bow down to the so-called white man. We told them that we're Jews. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone. So they want to lay hands on you. We don't bow down to them. They want to kill you, fight you, torture you, exterminate you. If you don't bow, now if you do bow, then they don't want to do anything to you. But if you don't bow down, they thinking about laying hands on you. For they had showed him the people of Mordecai, wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews. Off one man, and him standing up, now they want to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. So if you want to know what's going to happen to us, read the book of Esther. Let's go back to this. Now, here's what the brother sent. I'm not saying I'm not saying okay, it's going to be another Queen Esther, right? But I'm saying you can't overcome the seed of the Jews because we have the Most High with us. So here's a statement, right? There's no threat of the synagogues in New York City. This from Moshe Schwartz, right? Some Amalekite reporter. Statement from Lakewood, New Jersey Police Department, home over 100,000 Jews. In response to the statement issued by the FBI warning of a broad threat to synagogues in New Jersey, the Lakewood Police Department, along with assistance from Ocean County Sheriff's Department, has increased patrols in both the marked and unmarked capacity. In addition, we have also deployed several trained rapid response officers. Although there isn't any specific information pertaining to Lakewood, We are in communication with our local county and federal counterparts, right? So basically, they have people lined up and they're getting their people ready, right? They're getting their people ready, but if it be the Most High, you can't overthrow it, man. Right? It says, and federal counterparts in order to ensure the greatest protection to those we serve. So that shows you who they serve, right? The Lakewood Police Department would like to remind all citizens that if they see anything, call that nasty number they have. All right? We know if it be the Most High, you can't overthrow it, right? Lest you be found happily to fight even against God. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 13 and 8. Right? And that was Acts 5:39, paraphrasing. Right? But this is 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 8. It reads, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. So no matter what Esau has planned going on, false flags, agendas, crafty counsel, the truth is going to prevail above all things. Right? The truth is going to prevail. The truth is stronger than the children of men, wine, women. You understand? The king, the truth is above all things. That's documented in the Bible. But with that, we're going to close up. Giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh. Stay watching for the prophecies. Make sure you're praying, fasting, stand in the spirit, fighting the flesh. Kwam Yashala. Shalom. Oh, it's like a quick announcement. We got the HOI and WFI Unity Camp in DC at the Rally for Reparations. That starts at 11 a.m. We posted the flyer all throughout social media, Instagram. You can see that on the WFI page. We also have November 10th, the world's largest anti-Semitism and hate speech summit in New York City. Lord willing, we'll be there at 12 p.m. Anywhere around that time. We don't know the exact time, but we put 12 p.m. Lord willing, we're there at that time. And November 11th, that Friday, the day after, we have the WFI Rhode Island groundbreaking. Saturday, we'll be in Rhode Island for the second day of the groundbreaking. And Sunday, we'll be in Rhode Island for the WFI groundbreaking. So we got a lot of work to do, a lot of events coming up. Most High willing, brothers and sisters can make it to any one of those things. With that, again, Kwam Yashala, Shalom.